Democrats that flew to Washington last week to protest the Texas voting bill had a big announcement planned all along, despite at least 6 of her supposedly vaccinated colleagues testing positive for the coronavirus. Representative Michelle Beckley launched a bid to unseat GOP Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne with a video from her luxury D.C. hotel room. Take a look.
With Republicans in Congress blocking any attempt to protect voters' rights, including my Congresswoman, Beth Van Duyne. One of her first acts in Congress was to vote in favor of throwing out millions of ballots to help Trump steal the election. And one of her latest, asking us to just get over it and move on. Beth Van Duyne can walk away from her duty to defend democracy, but not me.
All right, joining us now for reaction is Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, good morning. Nice to have you back on the show. I'm curious what you made of something that was so clearly planned in advance.
You know, look, it's obvious that they're fleeing the state of Texas. They're surrendering the state of Texas. They're running to D.C. And I don't know about you, but if you know anything about Texans, we stay and we fight. I mean, that's what you got elected to do. And this woman wants to do my job when she can't even show up to do hers. I think there's a problem with that. And, you know, as an elected official, you make an oath, you make a pledge to your constituents that you're going to be there for them, that you're going to have the hard debates, that you're going to bring forward their voice. And this woman has completely abdicated her post.
I wanted to get your take on something that's been going. This is their 11th day now in Washington, this group of Texas Democrats. They've repeatedly compared themselves to the Freedom Riders. Beckley even referred to herself as brave in a tweet and then in the video. Let's just be clear. The Freedom Riders were made up of whites and blacks who rode around on buses together in the segregated South in 1961. Their buses were burned. Many of them were beaten violently. Many were arrested. These Texas Democrats, they flew on a private jet. They drank Miller Lite. And they're staying at a luxury hotel in Washington, D.C. In my opinion, just my opinion, there's not much of a comparison, but I wanted to get your reaction.
Of course there's not a comparison. Yeah, they're you know, luxury travel. You know, they're being received by open arms by the vice president and others here. They're walking around. You know, this is a vacation from them. They're taking pictures of their underwear. I mean, I don't understand what their point is. I do know that while they are gone, that the work that needs to get done in Texas is not getting done because they are not there. I know that people are frustrated. I have heard from several voters that they just want them to get back to work. They want them to do their job, and they're not doing that. And to compare themselves, you know, to people who actually have had to suffer, who have had to fight for rights, you know, as they're in luxury, and you know the taxpayers are flipping this bill. I mean, my understanding is they're getting almost $200 a day in per diem. Yeah. And that's taxpayer expense as they are out here not doing their job, specifically not doing their job. And they're not even staying to fight. If they've got an argument to make, let's hear it. Let's hear their voice. Be down on the floor in Austin. Debate with your colleagues. That's what you got elected to do. This is just nothing more than an attempt for publicity and an ability to be able to raise money. That's what they're doing. That's their focus. It's not on debating, it's not on policy, it's not on representing.
Yeah, it's $221 a day in addition to their salary. You could have a pretty nice dinner, a pretty nice steak stuffed with lobster at the Old Ebbitt Grill if you had that much money to spend every single day. Let's talk about what happens next here. Some of them have said they'll stay in Washington until the November elections, which are still 18 months away in the fall of 2022. Could they really stall this bill permanently? Because the bill is a foregone conclusion. It's going to pass. They just need to be there to do their jobs and vote.
I mean, there's things that the governor could do if it gets, you know, if it gets out of hand like that. I can't imagine that they would stay there that long, but you know, who would have imagined that they would have left the state and said that they were running to D.C. for protection? Who would have thought that they would compare representing, you know, the citizens of Texas to slavery? But these are the things that they're doing. I can't imagine, but you know, if that happens, I would hope that the governor would take a little bit stronger stance and actually be able to call them out and have special elections. If they're not going to do their job, I can guarantee you there's plenty of people lined up that will do it for them.
Congresswoman, I wanted to get your take on the president's comments. The administration reportedly they're just considering right now, re-implementing mask mandates for people that are fully vaccinated. This from the same commander-in-chief that said the people of Texas are Neanderthal thinkers because of lifting mask mandates. I should mention, despite the utter chaos at our southern border, more than 1 million illegal crossings so far since Joe Biden took office on January 20th. Texas coronavirus cases continue to go down in spite of everything and the Delta variant. What do you make of those comments?
I just think this administration is just all full of contradictions. You know, they want to lift Title 42 at the border. They're not checking for people coming over the border. We've got over 1 million people illegally who have crossed the border. None of them have been checked. None of them had gotten vaccinated when I went down there. And at the same time, they're trying to control the American people with a mask mandate. If people get the vaccination and they feel comfortable taking off their mask, they should have an ability to do that. And if people get the vaccination or don't get the vaccination and want to wear their mask, they are welcome to do that. This is all about control. This is all about putting fear in American people to make them more easily controlled. And I'll tell you, after the last year and a half, people are fed up with it. They want their lives back. They want to be able to be in control of what they do, and they want to be able to assess their own risks.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the more they can scare people, the more they want to, and that's what we've seen.
Back to Michelle Beckley, and we got to scoot, but after infecting 8 people with coronavirus, including 5 of our 6 colleagues, you think that maybe they would do that video at another time. I just think the optics are going to be very bad. Good luck to you in 2022, a long way off, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. Come back and see us soon. Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne.